So what made me want to start a plumbing company? Well, I really like high stress. I like sleepless nights. I like not knowing if I'm going to be able to pay my bills. And so I thought, what's the best way to accomplish that? And that's starting a company. Well, though that is very true for a large part of it, especially at the beginning, that wasn't why I wanted to start a company. I wanted to start a company because I wanted to challenge myself and try something to see if I could do it, and then also I wanted to be able to. The main reason was actually to give back to the community and give back to the trade in a way that I hadn't been able to before. And luckily in Texas, our state board has a very good program for working your way up through the trade. There are various endorsements and stuff like that. You do, in order to start your own company, you do have to have a master plumber license, and then you have to get what's called the responsible master plumber endorsement, which used to have a class required, and they may have changed that, but it just basically confirms that you're the one that carries the certificate of insurance, and it's your name on that and all of that, and that way you can actually start your own company. So I did all what I needed to do to get that done, and decided in 2014 it was time to try it. But a lot of people go that route. A lot of people have that same dream I did, the American dream, so to speak. And at that time in 2014, and even before then, that was always a possibility. It's starting to get diminished these days, though, because of private equity firms, and more so in the larger markets. Because in the larger markets, you have these private equity firms buying up all these different mom and pop companies and small independent contractors that have a good clientele, have a good business history and all of that, and they're putting them under a big conglomerate and turning them into basically the big box store version of a plumbing company. So it's they have a lot of employees and offer every service, but the customer service is mediocre, the quality of the service is not that great, and you don't really have as highly trained of people that you probably would if you were to stick with using an independent company that is really focused on their customers and training, skills training along with customer service training. And the other aspect of that makes it so difficult these days, more so than when I got into business ownership, is the way Google works. And these private equity firms have a lot larger ad spend budgets for spending money on Google, and you have to spend money on Google if you want to compete in the service industry. It's just a requirement. You have to. But if you can't compete, if you don't have the kind of budget that can compete with the ad spend, or if you don't already have a foothold on Google and have an established place and part of that market, then it makes it very difficult to get started. And that's not a good thing, because that, as a consumer, also reduces your choices. And how does it reduce your choice? Well, if these companies are coming in and buying up 4, 5, 6 of these companies, smaller companies, and put them all under one big umbrella, even though you think you may be calling a couple different companies for a service, a lot of times they're all owned by the same big conglomerate. And that's why your bids all seem to be the same if you're calling 3 or 4 different companies a lot of times. This is more so in the larger markets, but it's still important to think about. And I say all that because you really want to think about that when you're deciding who to use and supporting that idea of the American dream, and making sure that you're giving back to your community by supporting your local companies when it comes to who you choose to call. And it's not just Google. Those larger conglomerates can also negotiate much better deals with suppliers. And anyways, I guess what I'm getting at is that these companies are coming in and kind of taking an unfair advantage of the market by being able to outspend these other ones, which again, that's competition. I'm all for competition, but that's unfair competition. And anyways, I just want to throw that out there. Food for thought, something to think about when you're deciding who to use. If you like the idea of the American dream and you like the idea of supporting local, then use your local service companies. If you have a need for that, choose locally and support that. That's all I got. Thank you, guys.